Hi, welcome to Chicago Green Drinks. It's November 2009. We are talking to Jonathan Boyer, who is a principal architect at Farr Associates here in Chicago. Jonathan, welcome to Green Drinks.
Thank you very much.
Tell me about maybe perhaps the most exciting project you've worked on in the last 6 months or so with regard to your work at Farr.
All right, we just finished a project that is a zero net energy house. It is a house that actually produces more energy than it consumes. It's in the Ravenswood area. It's the first house in Chicago, in fact in this region, that does this. And it not only produces more energy than it consumes, it actually has gray water systems, has geothermal, solar thermal, it has permeable paving, natural vegetation. It's really a nice combination of environmental events in this house. It's the Yannell residence on the north side, just north of Lawrence.
Got it, on Ravenswood.
Yeah.
What does gray water mean? What does geothermal mean? Why is it hard to do a net zero energy house in Chicago?
Okay, that's a good question. The challenge was getting the systems together, getting the combination of elements like geothermal. Geothermal is a way of extracting energy, or BTUs, thermal energy, from the earth. The wells, we have 3 wells. They go down about 250 feet, and that allows us to heat the house in the wintertime and cool it in the summertime. And the way it does that very quickly is that it simply takes out energy from the earth. The Earth's about a constant temperature of roughly 57 degrees, below about 3 feet. Takes that energy out, puts it into a heat pump. The heat pump transfers it to a water source. The water source then runs it in the floor. The floor then heats up, and we get warm floors in the wintertime. And the opposite occurs in the summertime. Geothermal is one of the systems. PVs are another.
Right.
PVs, the entire roof is covered in PVs, so we have about roughly
solar panels for those.
Solar panels, photovoltaic panels. There are about 40 of them.
Wow.
They produce about 11 kW per annum, and that's more than enough for what we need for our house. We produce a little over 140% of the energy we need. So far, we're doing better than our energy model,
wow,
which is great.
Wow.
And there's an interesting reason for that. The roof is sort of shaped like a butterfly roof, and the sunlight comes in and hits the front edge of the butterfly, reflects off, and is actually giving more energy to the PVs than would originally calculate. So it's a nice little benefit.
But you planned that all along, of course.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's exactly right.
We knew it was going to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
And the gray water system? That's something unique to Chicago, I understand.
Yeah, the gray water one is very interesting. It's the first one in Chicago, the first time it's been permitted. We had to go through the Committee on Standards and Tests. The gray water system actually takes water from the washing system, filters it, adds chlorination, adds UV, and then additional filtration, and all of those combined then allow the water to be potable again, which we can then use, believe it or not, for toilets. So we had to have potable water to actually have the water for the toilets. But we have it permitted now. We've gone through the system. It is something we're probably going to use on future buildings, and we've set a precedent here, which I think is very positive. Yeah.
And this house also, it seemed like there was a lot of green buildings. I think one of the criticisms is that they don't always look really great. But this building, I know because I visited it, it's really a beautiful building. I mean, it really is the aesthetics were an important component as well as all these other things you talked about.
Absolutely. We were very honored to just receive a reward from the EIA of State of Illinois for the best project of the year. It's the first time the state of Illinois has awarded this project to a residential, project. And the Yannell residents got this award for both design and contribution to the community. So our client really wanted to have the recycled tile, all of the flooring material, the kind of paints. We used paint that's actually made from clay. We really looked at the aesthetics of this as well as obviously the functionality. So that was important to us.
Right. No, it's a tremendous thing. I look forward to seeing it.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the scope of the work you do at Farr Associates. I mean, you don't just do residential architecture.
Right. We also just finished a school project, for example. It's an historic renovation of the old Sears powerhouse. It's on the west side of Chicago. It was the powerhouse, about 50,000 square feet area, which is now 90,000 square feet of area of school. It's for a high school from 9th grade through 12th. It will use 90 geothermal wells.
Wow. So 3 with the house, 90
with the school. It's actually 89, but 90 is the real number.
We'll round up.
And it uses the heat pump system. It uses lots of insulation, but it retains the original character of the historic building. So the beautiful glazed tile on the entrance condition, which used to be the area where they made electricity, is now an area which we preserved as the main meeting hall for the entire school. So that's another example. We also do planning projects.
Right.
So it's historic preservation, planning, and then architecture, which is schools, housing, residential, institutional, and oftentimes we will do theaters and other kinds of institutional work. So it's a nice mixture of kinds of projects.
$1 million question. Now you work in the only in the sustainability paradigm.
Right.
What does that mean?
Well, what that means
at Farr Associates, I know it means a lot of things to a lot of different people, but at Farr Associates.
Well, what it basically means is that they come to us, but if a project comes to us that is not sustainable, we actually will not do it. And I know that sounds strange, especially in this economic market here, but we actually branded our company as being one that only does sustainable work. So if someone wanted to come and do a project which was, for example, in an ex-urban area, which had no sustainable elements, was not walkable, livable communities, did not aspire to CNU kind of ethos, we probably would say that there are other architects who could do a better job for you, and you should go somewhere else.
Right.
But if you want to do sustainability, we pride ourselves on thinking we are one of the best and have been branded by the New York Times as being one of the leading cutting-edge firms in the Midwest that does sustainability.
Absolutely. Last question, $1 million question. What's your dream project? Do you have a dream project that you wish
I could do?
Yeah.
Well, you know, this is very interesting. I'm almost doing it right now.
Okay, great.
The dream project. The client we did the Zero Net Energy House for, Michael, is now doing a commercial retail combined activity on Elston Avenue, just north, about in the 3,000, well, actually 2,000 block north of Elston. And that is pretty close because it will be the first, if we do this properly, the first zero net retail project in the United States. And we're really excited about it.
Wow.
It's not a trivial event. We've discovered that to produce that much energy for a 10,000 square foot building, we did 3 wells, we'll probably do 10 wells. We had a certain area of PVs for the house. We'll probably do 4 times that for the retail space. But it's very exciting. It'll deal with water, it'll deal with energy, it'll deal with landscaping, it deals with also the issues of retail space, which is makeup air, which is a big problem. We're having we want to have a living wall, for example, in this space, which will filter the air through the living wall. So it's really an exciting combination of activities, but we're still in the design stage.
Right.
We're not quite there yet. So it's very exciting.
Sounds very exciting.
Yeah,
very exciting.
It's a very exciting. It is as close to a dream project as I can imagine.
Great. Jonathan, thanks for joining us. I'm Peter Nicholson, the Executive Director of the Foresight Design Initiative. We hope to see you next month here at Chicago Green Drinks. Take care.
All right, thank you.